The blue-green waters of Aquatilla Prime shook with fear as Commander Velthar watched the sky burn above his world. Giant metal ships hung in space like hungry birds waiting to feed. These ships belonged to the Krillian Empire, and they had come to destroy everything. Velthar's tentacles wrapped around the control panel of his command center. His people, the Zephrians, lived in the oceans of their beautiful world. They were peaceful fish-like beings who had never hurt anyone. But that did not matter to the Krillians. The Empire wanted their planet, and they would kill everyone too. "Get it, Commander?" called his communications officer, her voice shaking. The gills on her neck moved fast with worry. Evacuation ships are reporting from the surface. 17 million of our people still need to escape. Velthar felt his heart sink. 17 million lives. Men, women, children, elders, all. Depending on him to save them. He looked at the tactical display showing his remaining ships. 30 vessels floated in space around their world. Most were not even warships. They were cargo ships and passenger transports with small weapons attached. Against the Krillian war fleet, they were like minnows facing sharks. The enemy had over 200 massive dreadnoughts. One was the size of a city and carried enough firepower to crack a moon. Velthor's little fleet had already lost 40 ships trying to protect the evacuation. The survivors were damaged and running low on ammunition. "How long do we have?" Velthar asked his tactical officer. 6 hours, maybe 7 if we're lucky. Then they start bombing the surface. The young officer's voice cracked. "Sir, our weapons barely scratch their armor. We can't stop them." Velthar closed his eyes. In 6 hours, his entire species would be dead. The Krillians would turn his beautiful ocean world into a lifeless rock. All because the Empire wanted another planet for their ever-growing territory. "Sir," his aide, a young female named Kira, swam closer. Her voice was barely a whisper. "About the ancient protocols?" "The what?" Velthar turned to look at her. "The old stories, sir? The legends from the first days of space travel. They say there are guardians out there. Powerful beings who protect innocent species from those who would harm them." Kira's gills fluttered nervously. "The old star charts have their coordinates." Velthar almost laughed. "Fairy tales. Stories told to children to help them sleep." But then he looked at his tactical display again. At the countdown timer showing 6 hours until genocide. What other choice did they have? "Show me these charts," he said. Kira quickly pulled up the ancient navigation data. The charts were thousands of years old, from the time when the galaxy was young and full of mystery. They showed star systems marked with strange symbols. One symbol appeared many times, a mark that meant protectors in the old language. There, Kira pointed to a section of the chart. 3 possible locations where these guardians might be. Did legends say they watch over the galaxy, ready to help those who cannot help themselves? Velthar studied the coordinates. The star. Charts were very old. The galaxy had moved and changed since they were made. The coordinates might not be exact anymore. But it was their only hope. "Prepare the emergency beacon," he ordered. "Send our distress call to all 3 locations." Communications team worked quickly. They prepared a simple message. It showed images of their people fleeing. It showed the Krillian ships attacking civilian transports. It showed children crying as their parents tried to save them. The message was clear. "Peaceful people under attack. Please help. Signal ready." "Commander," reported the communications officer. "Send it," Velthar said. "Send it with everything we have. Let these mythical guardians know that innocents are dying." The beacon launched into space. The signal split into 3 parts, racing toward the coordinates from the ancient charts. Each part carried the same desperate plea for help. The same hope that somewhere in the vast galaxy, someone cared about justice. But the old charts were not perfect. One of the 3 signals went exactly where it was supposed to go. The second signal reached empty space where a star had died long ago. The third signal, however, took a slightly different path. A tiny error in the ancient coordinates sent it toward a small yellow star with 9 planets. The third signal reached the 3rd planet from that star. A blue and green world covered in water and land. A world marked in every modern galactic database with warnings. Class 12 Deathworld, the databases said. Extreme hazard, avoid contact. Hostile environment. Dangerous species. The planet was called Earth, and Earth had just received a call for help. On Aquatilla's Prime, Velthar watched the signal disappear into space. He did not know if anyone would answer. He did not know if the Guardians even existed. All he could do was wait and hope that somewhere in the darkness, someone would care enough to help them. Admiral Li Dongwu was drinking his morning coffee on the bridge of the UES Prometheus when everything changed. The huge battlecruiser was humanity's pride, the newest and strongest warship in the Earth Space Fleet. Dongwu had been an admiral for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like what appeared on his screens that morning. The bridge was quiet. His crew was doing their normal duties, checking systems and monitoring space around them. Then Lieutenant Park Jin-ho, the communications officer, suddenly sat up straight at his station. "Sir, we're getting a signal," Park said. His voice was strange. "It's not from Earth. It's not from any human ship." "Put it on the main screen," Dongwu ordered. What they saw made the entire bridge go silent. The signal showed creatures that looked like fish with arms and legs. They were running and swimming in panic. Their cities were burning. Giant metal ships hung in their sky, shooting down at them with terrible weapons. Children were crying. Parents were trying to protect their families. Soldiers were dying as they fought hopeless battles against a much stronger enemy. The message was clear even without words. These people were being killed. Someone was destroying their entire world. "Analysis," Dongwu said quietly.
Ozzy!
Cup sat forgotten in his hand. Lieutenant Park worked at his computer for several minutes. His face grew more serious as he read the data. The signal came from the Kepler 438 star system. That's about 47 light-years from here. I've never seen this species before, but the distress signals are easy to understand. "Sir, they're being massacred." Before Dongwu could respond, another voice filled the bridge.
Captain Kim Min-soo
Appeared on the holographic display. He commanded the destroyer US Incheon, one of the other ships in their fleet. Admiral Kim said urgently, "We got the same transmission. All 12 ships in the fleet received it. What are your orders?" Dongwu looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him, waiting for his decision. On the screen, the alien message kept playing. More images of death and destruction, or innocent people dying while their world burned. He thought about his ships. 12 human warships, hung in space around the Prometheus. These were not ordinary ships. They were built on Earth, a world that tried to kill everything living on it. Earth had hurricanes that could destroy cities. It had asteroids that crashed from space. It had magnetic storms that could fry electronics. Humans had built their ships to survive all of that. And more. Every human warship was designed by people who had fought their way to the top of the food chain on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. The ships were fast, tough, and deadly. They had to be, because Earth was not a gentle world. "Emergency conference," Dongwu announced. "All fleet commanders now." Within minutes, holographic images of all 12 ship captains appeared on the bridge. Dongwu could see the same expression on every face. They'd all watched the alien distress signal. They all knew what it meant. Captain Cho Hai-jin commanded the cruiser US Busan. She was the first to speak. "Can't ignore this," she said. Firmly, "Those are innocent people being slaughtered. We have to help them." "Earth Command will be furious," warned Captain Nam Genesio. "We're supposed to patrol this sector, not go running off to fight alien wars. They'll court-martial us all." Dongwu looked at each captain's face. He saw the same thing in every pair of eyes. These were military officers who had sworn to protect innocent life. It did not matter if that life was human or alien. Earth's command. "Can court-martial us later?" Dongwu said. "Right now, people are dying. People who never hurt anyone. People who sent out a cry for help, hoping someone would care enough to answer." Captain Park So-young of the destroyer Yuzgung-noon nodded. "My crew is ready, Admiral. We didn't join the space fleet to watch genocides happen." "Same here," said Captain Otesu of the battleship Yu-Sol. "Those fish people look harmless. Whoever is attacking them is nothing but a bully picking on someone weaker. One by one, each captain agreed. 12 ships. 12 commanders. All willing to risk their careers to save strangers. All ships, prepare for emergency jump, Dongwu ordered. Set course for the Kepler 438 system. We leave in 1 hour.
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Park said quietly. Do we know anything about who's attacking them? What if it's a huge fleet? What if we're outnumbered? Dongwu smiled grimly. Then we'll make them regret picking on innocent people. Power up the jump drives. Your signal all ships to prepare for combat operations. The human fleet began to move. 12 warships built by Earth's deadliest species prepared to jump across space to help people they had never met. The crews checked their weapons and shields. They ran combat drills and prepared for battle. None of them knew that their decision would change the galaxy forever. They only knew that someone needed help, and they were going to provide it. The jump drives powered up. Space began to bend around. The ships. In 1 hour, the most dangerous species in the galaxy would arrive at Aquatilla Prime. The bullies were about to meet. Earth's children, Fleet Admiral Zextel, stood on the bridge of his flagship. The Dominator, watching his victory unfold. The pathetic fish people of Aquatilla Prime had finally been defeated. Their small defense fleet floated dead in space, broken and burning. 200 Krillian dreadnoughts surrounded the blue-green world like a metal wall of death. Zexthal was proud of his work. The Krillian Empire had sent him to take this world, and he had done it with barely any losses. The Zephrians were weak. They had tried to fight with cargo ships and passenger transports. It was almost insulting how easy it had been. Admiral, his weapons officer reported, all defense platforms are destroyed. The planet is defenseless. Excellent, Zextel replied. His reptilian features showed satisfaction. Begin surface bombardment. I want every city turned to glass. Leave no survivors. This was how the Krillian Empire had conquered half the galaxy. They found peaceful worlds with weak defenses, then they took what they wanted. The Empire was strong because they only fought battles they could win, easily. Why risk real losses when there were so many helpless victims to choose from? Charging orbital bombardment cannons, the weapons officer announced. Firing in 60 seconds. Zextel smiled. In 1 minute, 17 million Zephrians would be dead. Another world would belong to the Empire. Another easy victory to add to his record. That's when his sensor officer screamed. Multiple contacts dropping out of hyperspace. Unknown configuration. Zexthal spun around. What? Where? 12 ships, sir. He just appeared out of nowhere. On the main screen, space itself seemed to tear open. 12 shapes emerged from the rip, moving with deadly grace. They were smaller than Krillian dreadnoughts, but something about them made Zexthal's predator instincts scream warnings. These ships moved like hunters, not like the cargo haulers and passenger ships he was used to fighting. Analysis, he barked. Unknown. Design, sir? They're not in any of our databases. They're armed and moving into attack formation. Zexthal laughed. 12 small ships against 200 dreadnoughts? This would be over quickly. Open communications. Let's see what these fools want. The communication channel opened. Zexthal's voice boomed across space with imperial authority. Unknown vessels. You are interfering with Krillian imperial operations. This world now belongs to the Empire. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The response came in a language his computers had never heard before, but the tone needed no translation. It was pure rage barely held in check. It was the sound of a predator that had found someone hurting something it wanted to protect. Admiral Dongwu's voice cut through space like a blade. His words were translated into Krillian, but the fury behind them was universal. All ships, weapons free. Show these bastards what happens when you pick on someone smaller. The 12 ships spread out into attack formation. They moved like nothing Zexthal had ever seen. Most ships in space moved in straight lines, following predictable paths. These ships danced and weaved like they were dodging obstacles that weren't there. Fire on them, Zexthal ordered. All ships, destroy the intruders. The Krillian fleet opened fire. Hundreds of missiles and energy beams lanced toward the 12 mysterious ships. But the small vessels moved in impossible patterns, spinning and diving like they were fighting in an asteroid field instead of open space. The EU's Prometheus led the charge. Its railguns fired tungsten projectiles at incredible speed. The first shot hit the nearest Krillian dreadnought dead center. The massive ship simply vanished in a ball of plasma and debris. One moment it was there, the next it was gone.
Out.
Just happened, Zextal shouted. The destroyer's fist is gone, sir. Completely destroyed. That's impossible. One shot can't destroy a dreadnought. But it had, and more shots were coming. Captain Park So-young commanded the destroyer US Gangnung. She laughed with fierce joy as enemy missiles tried to track her ship. The Krillians fired their weapons in straight lines, expecting their targets to fly. In straight lines, too? But Earth ships were built to survive asteroid storms and solar flares. You could change direction instantly. These idiots don't know how to fight something that moves like it's dodging space rocks. She called over the communications channel. Her ship spun and rolled, avoiding every missile fired at it. Yes. Then her own weapons answered. Railgun slugs and missile salvos tore into Krillian ships, ripping through armor like it was paper. The battle was not a battle at all. It was a massacre. The Krillians had spent so many years bullying weak opponents that they had forgotten how to fight real warriors. Their ships were big and slow, designed to intimidate rather than fight. The human ships were fast and deadly, built by a species that had to fight for every day of survival on a world that tried to kill them. Within 30 minutes, 8 Krillian dreadnoughts were nothing but scrap metal floating in space. The surviving ships broke formation and fled, their crews screaming in terror. Demons, the fleeing Krillians broadcast. Demons from the void. They came from hell itself. The human fleet regrouped, their weapons still hot from battle. Below them, the Zephrians floated in their rescue pods, staring up in amazement at the mysterious ships that had saved their world. Commander Velthar floated in his damaged command ship, his tentacles shaking as he watched the mysterious vessels. That had saved his world. 12 ships hung in space like silent guardians, their weapons still glowing from the battle. In 30 minutes, they had destroyed the entire Krillian fleet. Ships that had taken hours to damage were gone in seconds. Commander, his communications officer called out, her gills fluttering with nervousness. The lead ship is trying to contact us. Velthar straightened himself. These beings had saved 17 million Zephrian lives. The least he could do was thank them properly, put them through. The holographic display flickered and came to life. Velthar found himself looking at an alien face. The creature was bipedal, like himself, with 2 arms and 2 legs. It had recognizable features: eyes, nose, mouth, but something was different. The skin looked thick and tough. The eyes were sharp and focused, like a predator's eyes. This was clearly a warrior species. "This is Admiral Lee Dongwu of the United Earth Space Command," the alien said. The universal translator worked to convert his words. "We received your distress call. Are you in need of medical assistance?" Velthar felt relief flood through him. These powerful beings were offering help, not conquest.
Admiral,
I am Commander Velthor of the Zephrian Defense Corps. We cannot thank you enough for Earth, his aide, Kira whispered beside him. Voice was filled with horror. Did he say Earth? Before Velthor could ask what was wrong, another human appeared on the screen. This one wore different markings and introduced herself as Lieutenant Colonel Yoon Dai-yoon. "Commander Velthor," she said kindly, "we're prepared to give you all the help you need. Our medical teams are ready. We have supplies, food, and temporary shelters for your people." Velthar was about to respond when he noticed his communications. OFFICER, frantically working at her station. Her gills were moving fast, which meant she was either very excited or very scared. "Commander," she whispered urgently, "I need to speak with you privately." "One moment," Admiral Velthor said to the human on the screen. "We're checking our casualty reports." He swam over to his communications officer. "What is it?" "Sir, I looked up Earth in the Galactic database." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world." Velthar's heart stopped beating for a moment. A what? Class 12 Deathworld, sir? The highest danger rating possible? The database says that Earth's atmospheric pressure alone would crush most intelligent species. The gravity is 3 times what most of us can survive. The weather includes storms so powerful they could tear apart starships. Velthor stared at her. You're telling me that our saviors are from a planet so dangerous that it's quarantined? Yes, sir. The database recommends that all ships avoid Earth completely, says the planet actively tries to kill everything living on it. And somehow, these beings not only survived there, they became the dominant species. Velthor looked back at the holographic display where Admiral Dongwu was waiting patiently. Now he understood why the humans' eyes looked so sharp, why their ships moved like predators. These were beings from hell itself, shaped by a world that tried to murder them every day. Sir, his tactical officer added quietly, I've been analyzing their ships. The armor is designed to withstand impacts that would destroy our strongest vessels. The weapons they used? I've never seen anything like them. They're built for war on a level we can't even imagine. Captain Kim Min-soo's destroyer was moving closer to one of their hospital ships. The human captain's voice came over the radio, friendly and helpful. We've got medical supplies ready to transfer. What do you need most? Food? Medicine? Shelter materials. Velthor felt his mind spinning. These creatures were offering aid to strangers. They had crossed dozens of light years to help people they had never met. But they came from a world so deadly that every other species in the galaxy avoided it completely. Commander Kira whispered. What do we do? They're trying to help us, but they're literally demons from the most dangerous world in the galaxy. Velthor looked at his display screens. He could see human shuttles preparing to launch, loaded with supplies for his people. He could see human medical officers getting ready to treat Zephrian wounded. These demons were acting like angels. You're telling me, he said slowly, that our saviors are being so tough that they made their homeworld into a fortress, and so dangerous that the galaxy quarantines their planet to protect everyone else? Yes, sir. And they flew all the way here just to save us from bullies? Yes, sir. Velthor thought about this for a long moment. Then he started to laugh. It was the laugh of someone who had been terrified, then saved, then terrified again, and finally found the situation too strange to believe. Open the channel, he ordered. Admiral Dongwu's face reappeared. Commander, are you ready to coordinate the relief efforts? Admiral Velthor said, We would be honored to accept help from Earth's finest. Thank you for answering our call. He didn't mention that he now knew Earth was basically hell and its people were the toughest beings in the galaxy. 3 months had passed since the Battle of Aquatilla Prime, and the galaxy was a very different place. Admiral Dongwu sat in his office aboard the UES Prometheus, reading reports that would have seemed impossible just a few months ago. The Krillian Empire, which had been expanding across the galaxy for decades, had suddenly stopped. All of their fleets had been called back to protect their homeworlds. The reason was simple. They were terrified of 12 human ships, Captain. Lim Hae-young's face appeared on Dongwu's personal communicator. She commanded the cruiser US Daegu, one of the ships in his fleet. Sir, we just received another distress call. Polonian Collective is under attack. The Thrakari hegemony is invading their space. Dongwu rubbed his tired eyes. That's the 5th distress call this month. Did word spread so fast? Before Captain Lim could answer, Lieutenant Park Jin-ho entered the office carrying a datapad. Sir, I have the answer to that question. The Zephrians have been broadcasting our communication frequency across all their trade networks. Now they've been telling everyone in the galaxy that Earth will help innocent species. So we're the unofficial galactic police now, Dongwu asked. Looks that way, sir. Dr. Shin-yunji appeared as a hologram in the room. She was the fleet's diplomatic advisor, and she had been studying the political changes across the galaxy. Admiral, the psychological impact of our intervention has been extraordinary. 3 major aggressive species have entered peace negotiations rather than risk fighting humans. The Krillians are telling everyone that we're void hunters and star devils. Captain Otesu, of the battleship U-Sol, joined the conversation via hologram. All this happened because we answered one distress call, he said, shaking his head in amazement. The galaxy was waiting for someone to stand up to the bullies, Dr. Shin explained. For centuries, Aggressive species have been conquering peaceful worlds because no one was strong enough to stop them. Now, everyone knows there's a species that will fight back. The main display activated, and Commander Velthor's familiar face appeared. The Zephrian commander looked much healthier than he had 3 months ago. His people had rebuilt their world with human help, and now they were thriving again. Admiral Dongwu, Velthor said, "I bring greetings from the Galactic Peaceful Species Coalition. We have an official request." "Go ahead, Commander." "The Coalition formally requests human protection for all member species. In exchange, we offer full technological sharing, trade agreements, and diplomatic recognition. 27 peaceful species have already joined the Coalition, and more are applying every day." Dongwu looked around at his officers. They were all career military people who had joined the Earth Space Fleet to protect their homeworld. None of them had expected to become galactic peacekeepers. But here they were, the only force standing between peaceful civilizations and those who wanted to destroy them. "Sir," Lieutenant Park said quietly, "Earth Command has been getting reports about our activities. They want to know why we're fighting alien wars instead of patrolling our assigned sector." "What did you tell them?" "I told them we were protecting innocent life." He said they'll discuss it with the politicians. Dr. Shin spoke up. "Admiral, I've been analyzing the communications traffic across the galaxy. The psychological impact of our presence is incredible. Just the rumor that humans might respond to a distress call has stopped 6 different invasions. Aggressive species are afraid to attack anyone now?" "The Vorthon Republic canceled their invasion of the Moralian system," Captain Lim added. "They said they didn't want to attract the attention of the Deathworld fleet. The hegemony of swords has entered peace talks with 3 species they were planning to conquer," Captain O reported. "They're calling it preventive diplomacy to avoid human intervention." Dongwu stood up and walked to the window that showed the stars outside. Somewhere out there, the Polonians were fighting for their lives against the Thorockery, just like the Zephrians had been fighting against the Krillians 3 months ago. "Signal the fleet," he decided. "All ships prepare for jump to the Polonian system. We're going to help them." Sir Lieutenant Park said, "What about Earth Command? What if they order us to stop?" Dongwu smiled. "Then we'll ask them to send more ships, because I have a feeling we're going to need them." Dr. Shin nodded approvingly. "The galaxy is changing, Admiral. For the first time in centuries, peaceful species have hope. They know that someone will come if they call for help. And the aggressive species know that bullying innocents will have consequences," Captain Lim added, as the human fleet prepared for another rescue mission. The news spread across the galaxy's communication networks. The Deathworld fleet was moving again. The humans were going to fight another battle for people they had never met in the Thrakari command centers. Alarms began to sound. Their easy conquest of the Polonians had just become very complicated. Across the galaxy, peaceful species looked up at the stars with new hope. The bullies finally had someone to fear. The universe would never be the same.